Hi everybody, I'm Paul. I'm the first person that's going to be speaking today. I hope you can all hear me okay. If you can't hear anything, just drop a message in the chat. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you now. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Microsoft Forms as a tool for formative assessment. I will just click to share my screen just now. Now, Microsoft Forms is a really, really useful tool. If anybody hasn't been into Forms before or doesn't know how to access it, if you just go onto Glow, just anywhere on Glow where your emails are, like this here, and click on the little app launcher up here in the corner, then Forms is one of the options that you'll see there. If you don't see Forms automatically on this section, then if you click All Apps, then you should be able to see it in that bit there. Now, I've already got Forms loaded on a separate tab over here. There's two separate sections that you can tap on when you're creating a new form. You can either click to create a new form, or you can create a new quiz. Creating a new form would be more if you're trying to come up with a questionnaire or something that doesn't really have a correct answer. But for what we're looking at today, I'm going to look at creating a new quiz. Now, when you create a new quiz, the first thing that you have to do is choose a title for your quiz. Now, your title can be anything you want based on what you're doing in your classroom. Just as an example today, I'm going to put in a title, Solar System Quiz. And I'm going to enter a quiz all about the solar system. If you want to, you can add a description about your quiz below that. After you've chosen the title of your quiz, the next thing you have to do is add a question. Now, when you click the add button here to add a question, you get a couple of options for what type of question you want to add. The first two options will be the two that you would probably use more often, which are choice, which lets you select a multiple choice question, and text, which lets the person answering the quiz to type in what their answer is. So just to begin with, I'm going to choose a multiple choice question. Now, the box at the top lets you type in what the question is going to be. So for the first question, I'm just going to type in just an example. What planet is closest to the sun? And then below it, I can type in what the possible answers are. So I'm going to type in Mars as a possible answer. You can see here, it comes up suggestions of answers that you could put in. It would sometimes come up to that. So I'm going to use this to put in a couple of other possible answers. Mercury, and I'll type one in here. Let's put Venus. Okay. Now, after you've typed in the possible answers, it gives you a couple of options at the side. The little tick lets you tick what you want the correct answer to be. So for this question, the correct answer will be Mercury. So I'm going to click the little tick right next to Mercury to say that that will be the correct answer. There's also a comment box next to it. So if you wanted to, you could put a comment in there. For example, I could put a comment next to Mars saying, unlucky, the correct answer was Mercury. That would mean that if they choose the wrong answer, then they'll get this wee message coming through saying that the correct answer was Mercury. So I'm going to just put that in as a comment for the other options as well. Like that. And that's fine. Now, after you've done that, you can choose, if you want to, how many points the question's worth. You might want that question to be worth 1 point. You might want it to be worth more than that. I'm going to put in here that that question will be worth 2 points. You don't have to choose that, but it's an option if you would like to. Then you can click Add a New Question. I'm just going to do 3 questions in this, so I'm going to just do one more multiple choice question, and then I'll add a text question. So just an example, the next multiple choice question that I'm going to select is, how many moons does Mars have? And the options that I'm just going to put in, I'm going to just put in 3 options this time. I'm going to put in 1, 2, or 3. And the correct answer for this one will be 2. I'm not going to put a comment next to this one because I've already showed you that. And I'm going to make that one worth 2 points as well. So next, I'm going to just click Add one more question. And I'm going to choose text. I'm going to make this one a text question, which means they will have to enter the answer themselves. So I'm adding a text question, and for this question, I'm just going to put in what year was Pluto made a dwarf planet? and below you can enter what you want the answer to be for that. So add answer, and you can enter what the correct answer will be. So I'm going to enter the correct answer for this one is 2006. So I'm going to enter 2006 as the correct answer there. And because that's a question that you just have to type in the answer for, I'm going to make that one worth 5 points, just like that. Really, really easy. So that's me got my 3 questions in. I've got my 2 multiple choice questions and my question that is just a text question. You could add in as many questions as you like. It's not limited at all. When you have finished your quiz, there's an option here to preview it. So if I want to preview what my quiz looks like, then I could click on that button there and it will show me it right here. That's what my quiz looks like. So if you like, you can enter the answers just to make sure the quiz is working fine. So let's say for the first question, I thought that was Jupiter. Let's say I knew that Mars has 2 moons. And let's say I knew that Pluto was made a dwarf planet in 2006. So if I submit that, it says, thanks, your response was submitted, and it will let you view your results. So it will let me view that the closest planet to the Sun is not Jupiter, and you can see the wee message comes up there saying the correct answer was Mercury. And it lets me know that I got questions 2 and 3 correct. And it also tells me at the top right here how many points I got. So I get 7 points out of 9 for that one. So I'm going to go back just now. Now, when I previewed that, it didn't look, the questions were all there, but I think it could look a little bit better. So one thing that you can do to make it look more interesting is choose a theme for your form. So I'm going to click on theme just now. There are some themes already here for you, so you could change the colour if you like. One thing you could do as well is click the add button down here to make your own custom theme. So I'm going to click that just now. And if I click on the little gallery button here, then it lets me upload an image that you can just search for on Bing. So I might want to search for a picture of the solar system. And then it'll come up a couple of options. You can choose to click whatever you want. Let's say I want to use that picture there. And I click the add button. Just like that, it means that the picture of the solar system will now be on the background of my form. Now, once you've got everything in place and you're happy with how your quiz looks, it is time for you to share your quiz. So if you click the share button in the top corner here, it gives you an option to copy your link. Now, this little drop-down box here gives you 2 options. You can either choose it so only people in your organisation can respond, or you can select that anyone with the link can respond. So I'm going to choose that one just now. And then you can click this little button here to copy the link. So that's me copied the link now. Now I'm going to show you, just as an example, I've got an email already preloaded here to Mrs. McGinty that I am going to paste the link to and send it. So I'm going to just paste the link into this email here and send it as an email, just to show you how it looks when somebody else is opening the quiz to complete it. So I've got Mrs. McGinty's email loaded in a different browser here. So I'm just going to open that and click on the link, just to show you how that would look when you click on the link. So that's me clicked on the link as somebody else, and you can see we've got our 3 questions here, and it lets me know how many points that will be worth. So let's say as an example, we know that one's Mercury. Let's say I think Mars has 3 moons, and Pluto was made a dwarf planet. Let's say I know that is 2006. So if I click submit on that one, it says my response was submitted. It would then let me view my results. And just as we've seen already, we can see what we've got right, what we've got wrong, and how many points we got in total. So going back onto my form now, you can see now that there's been 2 responses submitted, it says at the side here, responses to. So as the teacher who's sent this form out, if I click on that, it gives me a little analysis of how many questions have been answered correctly, how many questions have been answered wrong, and that can give you a kind of idea if you're doing a quiz for formative assessment, if there's any gaps in the learning whatsoever, then you should be able to see it through the analysis on this section here. Another thing you can do is if you click on review answers right here, then it will let you flick through, using this arrow here, the different people that have completed the quiz. Right now, it just says respondent 1 here, but if you are sending out this quiz in your establishment, then it will let you view like the children's names, everybody who's answered it, it'll show you, and it'll show you how they got on with it. So you'll be able to view that quite easily. It also shows you the time that it took to complete the form. as well as how many points they got. So it's really, really easy to use. Another thing you could do, if you have a Microsoft team with your class, then you could share it really easily. If you just open a new tab at the top on Microsoft Teams, then it allows you to add the form directly to that tab. So it's really, really easy to access. I don't have time to show you that just now, but that's just another really easy way of distributing your Microsoft form. So I hope that that is an easy enough way for you to be able to use Microsoft Forms as a method of formative assessment. I'm going to mute my mic now to pass you over to Sandra, who is going to show you a different method of formative assessment that she has been using with her class. Thank you for listening.
Alexandra, just checking your mic's on because we can't hear you just now.
Sorry, I hadn't held it long enough.
Perfect, that's great. We can hear you now. That's amazing.
Okay, so I'm Alexandra Feeney. I am going to take you through the app and website LanguageNut. LanguageNut is a tool that motivates and engages pupils while reducing teacher workload in modern languages. In the primary school, LanguageNut, you've got access to over 22 different foreign languages and nurtures reading, writing, listening and speaking skills through a range of different games and activities. You can practice forming your sentences and verb conjunctions. It saves time with easy to find automatically corrected work, and you can see your pupils' progress at a glance. In the secondary school, there's a dedicated product for French, Spanish and German, so it's restricted to those three languages for now, but it covers the Scottish curriculum from first year through to fourth year with comprehensive exercises, exam practice and reading, writing, listening and speaking skills. And again, you can see your pupils' progress at a glance. Both the primary and the secondary LanguageNut facilities are available on apps through Google Play and the App Store. However, if you are going to be using the apps with your pupils, it limits what they can see to just the assignments you set, and I'll show you what that looks like later on. But for now, your login details were sent out around the end of 2019. We got an email at my school on the 19th of the 11th, but that was to do with the renewal of the LanguageNut service. So we've got it for 3 years from that date. But if you don't have that email anymore, if you've lost your login details, you can email sabrina@languagenut.com. And I'll put this into the files section at the end of the session. So in LanguageNut, there's an admin area that allows you to set up staff and pupil logins. You can see results of your pupils, and you can also give some formative feedback based on the results that you see from what they've engaged with and how well they've done with that. Within the vocabulary and grammar section, there are flashcards followed by games and activities that encompass reading, writing, listening and speaking. So it's covering all areas of modern language. And there's also sentence building that lets pupils put together what they've learned in a vocabulary trainer, grammar and verbs, and they can begin to build sentences from that. Pupils learn through the online flashcards with audio, and just now that's really quite handy. When you're not there to teach them directly, you can direct them to what you want them to be learning, and it's native speakers. So there's native French speakers or native Spanish speakers, so you're getting the proper accent with it. Pupils can practice what they've learned with a range of games, and they can test themselves at the end. So it's split into 3 sections for learn, practice and test. And when they test themselves, they can earn the little medals, which keeps their motivation up. So the app versus the website, they need to be thought about as 2 different things completely. The website gives them access to everything, so they can see all the topics, they can see all the flashcards, all the little activities they can get involved with. But the app, it really does restrict them to just the assignments, to the work that you set. So once you've set work, they can go into the app and they can do the tests. Really, it doesn't allow them access into the teaching materials or to the native accents, other than when they're doing, obviously, like the little listening tests. So the website will work, though, on Apple devices and Android devices. But if they're using like a mobile phone, it's going to be a really small screen, and that can be a bit of a hindrance to them. On top of that, the Language Nut, they've got 2 really good sections in the site, which I quite like for playing games and school. There's worksheets and custom-made content. You can create worksheets based on things that they've got on their website, around the words that you want your pupils to focus on. There's songs and stories and full lesson plans. So if you're relatively new to teaching a modern language, then that's quite good that they've got a structure that you can follow, taking into account their website and obviously any additional things that you want to add in there. But they've also got a blog, and you don't need to log in for the blog, and that has a whole range of different seasonal type activities. I think my favourite out of all of them is the Guess Who. It's a bit like the Guess Who game, or it's exactly like the Guess Who game that we used to play when we were wee, where you have to guess what character your opponent has based on the descriptive, and it's all in the language that you want to teach. So there's lots of things there. But the thing that we want to focus on today is how we set up our classes, set up our staff, and how you assign work. So I'm going to quickly take you through how to assign work by looking at some slides, because it's quicker than going through the website. But then we'll go onto the website to look at how we set up staff and pupils. So when you log into the website, you've got the option of student resources at the top right-hand side. You just need to click that, choose the language that you want them to learn, choose the work type. So you've got vocabulary trainer, grammar and verbs, or sentence building. From there, you select the topic, and then you refine the choice within that topic, and then you assign the work up at the top right hand corner. Once you click that assign work, you get the option of what date you want to assign that from. So you can set up a month's worth of work in one go to release in certain dates, to become available to pupils in certain dates, and you can choose who you want to assign it to. So what we're going to do is have a look at the website for LanguageNet, and we can see how we have those classes set up to assign the work to. We're just logging in. So again, it opens up like this, but we want to be accessing the admin area. So at the top of the screen, on the left-hand side, there's a little person with a cog. You're going to be tapping into that, or clicking into it if you're using a website. And from here, it opens up on like a home screen that shows how well your school's doing and the areas that it's doing well in, and also the things it needs to work on. So if we scroll down, it gives me an overview of the total school, because I've got access to everyone. If I only had access to my class, it would only show me where my class is performing. So I can see that the speaking section, we're not doing too well in that just now. So that's an area where I can give feedback to the pupils. I can message the pupils and show them, like direct them to more of the assignments to do with speaking. I can direct them to more of the flashcards and ask them to practice their speaking. So at the top of the screen, we've got school, classes, students, assignments, library, teachers and settings. The first thing I would do is set up the teachers. All you have to do is click teachers, and on the left hand side you've got add staff. So you can add your staff in there one by one and input an email address that they choose to use with it. I'm going to come out of that, and it's exactly the same setup for classes. You want to click for a new class, put in the class name. I'm going to go with test if I can get my screen away. Test 1. Enter in student names. Let's just go for Bob. I'm trying to find names that aren't names of pupils that I know. Sally and Jimmy. Okay, so from there you've got a list of each pupil has to take a new name. If you have a list sitting on your computer that you use, you can copy and paste it in. Just make sure that each name takes a new line. Click next. Choose the languages you want them to have access to. So we teach French and Spanish in my school. Obviously yours might be different. And if I'm doing job share, or if I'm a probationer or I share my class with anyone, or if there's an on-class contact time person that does the second language, you might want to add additional people. So I'm going to add in Miss Jolie and click next. So it gives me the option to download student logins just now. I'm going to click yes. I can take a screenshot or I can save that into my books or files. But if I click no, I can download that login at any time by just going into the classes and selecting my class. So to do that, you just click the classes, look for your class, click on it. It'll show you an overview of how your class has been getting on. Obviously this class is brand new, so it hasn't done anything yet. All I have to do is click on settings, and I've got the, you click on students and then download logins. What I can do from here is click on settings, and I can either add pupils in or remove pupils from the class by clicking on modify. I can also message the students. So let's take a look at the classes I've got just now. Into classes, and I can look at, just take one of the primary sevens. So I can see that they're all doing really well in this. I could send a message to the whole class. I can add a class message, and I can use an emoji. They've got them all sitting ready for you. Well done, primary 7. Let's see your So I can say a message out to the whole class, and I can send that to them. Now, to see any of the messages that I've sent, all I have to do is click on that settings. Sorry, I've gone right out of it. I've lost my train of thought. So you can send messages, but you can do that with pupils as well. So you can send a message directly to a pupil that way by, again, just going into settings, message student, and you can send the message directly there. What I'm going to do is quickly go through the library with you. This is where all the content is that's available to you. You can go into your printable resources. You can choose what it is that you're wanting to do with them. So I'm going to go with vocabulary snap. We're going with French as a language. Then you choose the content. So we were looking at numbers with primary 1. So you tap through, choose your numbers, and from here it will create then something that is printable for you to then print off, laminate, and then you've got an activity to do with your whole class. And I think we've just got time for me to take you into the student resources. So just click through into student resources at any time on the right hand side. You can click on the language and then choose what you want to do. If we're doing vocabulary trainer, then here, click on any of the topics, and this is where you learn. You can press the play button and it comes up as full flashcards that you can use. Once you feel as if you've done enough with that, you can then click practice, and you can see some of the games that you can play to match up. So this is a reading activity where they can match up all the details across. My pupils really like this, and we play a beat the teacher on it, but in the smartboard, where they try and beat my time and beat each other's. Once you've completed any of the activities, it gives you a certain number of points, and it will show you where your school is ranking. Now, we used to be in the thousands, and now we've worked our way up to 106 over the past couple of weeks. Once you've done the task, it gives you the option if you're ready to take the test. If you take the test, you've then got a restriction in your choice for reading, listening, writing, and speaking, and it doesn't give you the same level of choice that the game does. I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to add a few more slides into the keynote that I've got to go over the messages part, because I completely lost where I was in the site, just to clarify that, and I will pass you off to Laura Thanks very much for your time. Thanks, Sandra. Hopefully you can hear me all okay. I'm just going to share my screen just now. Okay, so I'm Laura McLean, D-Law and acting principal teacher from St Benedict's.
Hi Laura, I think we've lost audio just now on you.
Hi guys, sorry, I don't know, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, that's great, Laura.
Sorry, I got disconnected there. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen now. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, that's great. We can see your iPad home screen. That's perfect.
Sorry, guys. So I'm Laura McLean. I'm D-Law and acting principal teacher from St Benedict's. Today I'm just going to quickly talk you through the Plecos app that I've been using in class as a formative assessment tool. This will be something that you'll use more so when you go back to classes rather than a distance learning app just now. I know there had been issues with this app originally, but it is all up and running on the iPads again, so there's no issues with it just now. Just to begin with, for those of you who don't know or haven't used the app before, Plecos is basically an interactive tool which requires the teacher to have access to an iPad and a laptop or PC device connected to a smartboard. The teacher basically is creating a short quiz again, similar to the forms that Paul was talking about, with either multiple choice or true-false answers. And then following the completion of that quiz, you then have data collated there to help inform your next steps in the learning for the children. I'm just going to very quickly talk you through sort of the setup of Plecos. Signing up originally with your email address to create an account. Once you're in, you need to do this on a laptop or a PC device. Sorry, the iPad doesn't allow you to add classes and things. So you'll see the menu down the left-hand side there. Go to new class, name your class, so primary 5, primary 6, whatever class you've got. You'll then go to add students. And that will allow you to type in the names of all your students. Once that's set up, there's only one final step, which you need to get the actual Plecos cards, which is the only resource that the children need. So to do that, if you just go to the top right-hand corner and go to help, and then to get the Plecos cards. At that point, a few options come up. You can buy these cards online, but it's not really worth it. They provide a set of free cards for you to print, and this is them on the right hand side there. So that is the resource that the children need. Okay, so you just have that page. The Plecos apps, the Plecos cards are best not to be laminated, so I would recommend just cutting them and putting them onto a piece of card. Each Plecos is numbered, so the top one there is number 1. When you type in your list of children, they will be assigned to a number, and that's the Plicker card number that they get. There's 4 letters round the side, A, B, C and D. That's for like them answering. So if the answer was to be B, I always tell them to either have B in front of their forehead or as close to the ceiling, like up high, okay, because the correct answer has to be at the top. So once you've got them, you're more or less ready to go. The next thing you need to do is to create your quiz. So to do that again, so the same as adding your classes and creating quizzes, it all has to be done on a laptop or a PC. So you would create your quizzes, and on the free version you can only have up to 5 questions per quiz, but that's more than enough, so it is, that I've found anyway. So create your quiz, and then to play it you will need, as I said, your laptop connected to your smartboard and your iPad. So I'm just going to skip to the next slide, but I will come back to this one. This is what it will look like when you play your quiz in the class. On the laptop and on the smartboard, the children will see the question and the 4 options. On my iPad, which I'm using to scan those Plicker cards, I'll have the question and I'll have the options, but there's a wee D is highlighted there in green to show that when that scans, that it knows what the correct answer is. So when I scan the room of Plickers, the children's names will come up with either a green dot or a red dot against them to say whether they've got the right answer or not. So the children will be holding up their Plickers cards, I'll scan them, and then the final step is for me to reflect upon that data and kind of, as I said, inform my next steps for my teaching. What does it look like in the class? There you can see the children all holding up those cards. That's the only resource they need. They don't need any devices whatsoever. Okay, and then the data that's collated, you can see really clearly there. That's just from one of the quizzes. I can see really clearly that there was 4 children that in the next lesson I need to spend time with, because they didn't get the area that we were assessing there. And I can go into each question and see where the mistakes were, so I can start to see common mistakes that were made that will help inform my teaching points going forward. For me personally, the benefits I've found of Plickers is the children have been super excited and super engaged when I say to them we're going to do a Plickers quiz. They don't see it as a form of assessment, they just see it as a fun, enjoyable quiz. So it takes that sort of pressure off of them because they don't see it as an assessment. It's a really quick and easy way for me to collect, collate and reflect upon children's understanding of the learning, and it allows me then to be reflective and responsive to their needs going forward. It reduces marking and workload, so I could have been doing that same sort of idea using post-it notes or using a sort of quiz on paper, but I would then have to spend time going through all that and looking to see where mistakes were and what children didn't understand, whereas I can see nice and clearly from the data on Plickers, just at a glance, where I need to sort of step in and support children. All children can participate because I read through the questions as I do it. So if I've got non-readers within the class, they can still take part. I could also do it within groupings, so I could take like a reading group out and do a quiz for them, and then do a different one for maybe one of my lower groups in the class. So I can still do it depending on whatever group they're in. And I've found that you can use it at any point in a lesson. It can be used as a plenary, it can be used at the beginning to sort of recap learning from the previous lesson, or it can be used at the end of a series of lessons as a bit more of a formal assessment. And just finally,
just remember it's just another tool to support formative assessment in the classroom. And as I said, it will be something that you won't be able to use just now, but going forward, going back to school, it might be something that you want to maybe look at to introduce into your class. And that's me. I've just rushed through that really quickly, but if there's any questions, then please do get in touch, and thank you.